The story does not end when she says no to you. There's the message you sent that she never read, the cold way she said goodbye, the silence that followed after all those late-night talks and plans that never happened. What really gets to most men is what happens next. Sometimes it takes weeks or even months. Then she gets in touch again. She sends you a text message at midnight. She reacts to one of her Instagram stories. She says, "Hey stranger," like nothing ever happened. Then your mind starts racing. Why is she doing this now? Why did she come back after she walked away like she did not care? Some people will tell you that she finally realized how much you are worth. Others will say that she misses you. The truth is that it is more complicated than that. In the world of dating, people do not come back just because they love you. They come back because something inside them is not resolved. The truth is that rejection affects both people, but in ways. One person might look like they are suffering. The other person might be suffering too, just not in the same way. They might be suffering quietly. That is where everything changes. What most men do not realize is that rejection hurts their identity more than their heart. When someone leaves you, you do not just feel sad. You feel humiliated. You compare yourself to others. You feel abandoned. You wonder if someone else has taken your place. You start questioning your worth without realizing it. You think about your conversations with her when you're driving home from work in Chicago. You check your phone during lunch breaks in Toronto, hoping to see her name. You sit in your apartment in London at 1 wondering how someone who used to care about you so much could suddenly stop. This is where people make a mistake. They try to get relief not because they love the person, but because they cannot stand feeling like they have been thrown away. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist persists." That is exactly what happens when you get rejected. The more you try to force someone to come, the more trapped you become in your emotions. Something strange happens when you stop fighting the loss. Your emotions start to shift. People are affected by how sure they're of their emotions. When someone expects you to fall apart without them, but instead you start to get your emotions, it creates confusion. It is not about playing games or manipulating someone. It is human psychology. When you're not around, it breaks the story they created about you in their head. One reason women come back after rejecting someone is that they lose sight of how emotionally available they were when they were together. Humans are wired to notice when something is gone more than when it's there. This is called loss aversion. You react strongly to losing something than to just having it. When you were always texting her and checking in, your emotions became predictable. When you stopped, her brain started to pay attention to the silence. It is not that she planned to come, but your absence made her notice the silence. Another reason is that people recalibrate their sense of identity when they get rejected. They expect the rejected person to still be emotionally attached. When you start rebuilding your life, their image of you changes. You're no longer the person they thought you were. You become unpredictable again. That gets their attention. You see this happen a lot in Western dating. A guy in New York gets ghosted after dating someone for 3 months. At first, he falls apart. He reads texts, he stops sleeping, and he checks her social media every night. Eventually, he starts to change. He starts going to the gym, not to get revenge, but because he does not want to feel weak anymore. He starts hanging out with friends and throwing himself into work. He slowly builds a life that does not revolve around waiting for someone's attention. Months later, she sees him in a way. Maybe they have friends, or maybe she sees one of his social media posts from a party in Los Angeles or a hiking trip in Vancouver. But what really gets her attention is not the post itself. It is the message behind it. He survived, he moved on. What most men do not realize is that rejection attacks their sense of self more than their heart. When someone leaves, you do not just feel sad. You feel humiliated. You compare yourself to others. You feel abandoned. You wonder if someone else has taken your place. You start questioning your worth without realizing it. You think about your conversations with her when you're driving home from work. You check your phone during lunch breaks, hoping to see her name. You sit in your apartment at 1 wondering how someone who used to care about you so much could suddenly stop. This is where people make a mistake. They try to get relief not because they love the person, but because they cannot stand feeling like they have been thrown away. The moment she comes back is often the moment you finally start to change. Because somewhere during the loneliness you grew up, you stopped needing validation to feel valuable. You stopped checking your phone every 10 minutes hoping for rescue. You started understanding that your life cannot revolve around whether one person chooses you or not. Ironically, that emotional independence is what changes your energy completely. It is not fake, it is not manipulative, it is emotional stability. The kind that is built through pain, self-respect, and acceptance. The truth is that people often come back when they sense they're no longer controlling your emotions. By then, something strange has happened. You do not see them the way anymore. Because rejection forced you into a relationship with yourself. You built routines. Without them, you found peace. Without them, you learned how to survive nights that once felt unbearable without them. Suddenly, the question changes completely. It is no longer, why did she come back? The real question is, do you still need the kind of love that once broke you? Because the powerful change after rejection is not becoming irresistible to someone else. It is becoming emotionally free enough that your happiness does not depend on whether anyone stays or leaves.